Welcome to Journey to Queendom. This is your season of reign, a season of shedding survival, releasing fear, and stepping into the woman who God called you to be. You weren't created just to endure life, you were created to reign in it. Let's begin. Hello, thank you for joining Journey to Queendom podcast. I'm so happy that you have decided to come back yet another week. Listen, what happens when you are no longer surviving and now you have to feel? Now you've been introduced to all of these new things and sensations and feelings that you've never really allowed yourself to feel before. What happens? I do know that something is happening to me, y'all, and I don't fully recognize myself anymore. It's not bad. It's not alarming. It's different. I'm softer. I'm slower. I want things I didn't have space to want before. And if I'm honest, it feels overwhelming. Sometimes it feels like I'm suffocating with it, right? Because now I have these needs, real ones, and I don't know what to do with them. What is actually happening? This part of the journey to queendom, journey and healing yourself from survival mode, allowing yourself to transition from survival mode. This part, nobody really talks about, right? See, we think that healing is going to feel peaceful, like an exhale, like rest, like I've arrived. But what happens is different in your body. What happens when your nervous system begins to regulate? Everything that was supposed to be in survival mode, that was suppressed in survival mode, it comes back online all at once, it feels like. So all of a sudden now you're having desire, longing, sensitivity, femininity. At least this is what I've been experiencing. The need to be held, the need to be seen beyond what I do. Not because I'm, needy now, not because I'm becoming available, these aggravating sensations. No, instead of being needy, I'm available to myself. I'm available to connection. I'm available to truth. I am open now. And just like a live wire, you know, it has all of this power. And if somebody touches it, they're going to get electrocuted, right? But that wire is filled with all of these sensations and it just needs grounding so that it won't be so destructive, right? This was shocking, to feel. And it took a second to kind of understand what was happening to me because it was disorienting. And of course, all of these feelings, they felt so urgent because, of course, I've never allowed myself to feel these things before. And also because they've been waiting, lying dormant, delayed, even denied by me for so many years. So when they arose, it literally felt like a flood. And now, y'all, I'm looking at my partner, my husband, like, why aren't you meeting me here? Why aren't you feeling what I'm feeling? Why aren't you satisfying all of these sensations that I have now? because they've never met this version of me before, and neither have I. So, in my, kind of like talking to God and trying to figure out this new place that I'm in and all of these things that I'm feeling, I'm trying to understand what's the source of these feelings. And immediately I got afraid because it's like, okay, here's another thing that I need to figure out. Here's another thing that I need to fix. And that was the temptation that followed trouble in my life, or problems in my life, or instances in my life that required a higher version of myself. My impulse would be to fix it, right? That's my instinct. Communicate it perfectly, strategize it, over explain it, carry both sides of the relationship on my back so that I can get the outcome that I now desire. But just as quickly as I started on this path, right? Like I'm sussing it out with God in our time. I'm like, what is this? What is this? Here's how I feel. Honestly, putting it on the page. I'm a journaler, putting it on the page as honest as I knew how, and I really didn't want to put it on the page because it looked really bad on the page, right? Here are all the things that I need. Here are all the ways in which my partner is lacking, you know, and I allowed myself to be brutally honest with all of these new sensations that I'm feeling and how I felt that I was not getting what I needed, right? And as soon as I was honest on that page, God met me. He met me. And his loving, loving correction and loving spirit checked me, but not in a let me tell you about yourself kind of way. No, because God doesn't speak to me that way. I don't believe he speaks to anybody that way. But he said, Marci, taking full responsibility for both sides is merely survival. And I felt that because I can understand that because that's where I came from. And so I understand clearly how my body and my mind would try to solve this quote unquote problem in this manner, because that is what survival taught me. If I don't hold it all together, it's going to fall apart. I have to be the one to hold it together, to fix it, to control the outcome. And then came the shift. Because, see, when you're honest, you're vulnerable. And when you're vulnerable, that's God's way in. Yeah. He can get in through that open door of honesty and vulnerability. And he can help us to see, he helped me to see how to go from control to surrender, which is always what he's trying to get me to do. Release the control and surrender, right? This is the same lesson that he's been after me for years, just trying to get me to see. But it hit a little differently because I know where I came from in this journey and I know where I'm trying to go. Yeah. So now when truth is revealed to me, my body can accept it. My body can recognize it because I know exactly what that survival mode is, you know? And what he's requiring of me is a perspective shift, right? So then I have to deal with these things. Okay, what if, Lord? And shifting my mindset from control to surrender, I don't have to rush this version of me into being understood, right? I don't have to force my partner to catch up with me overnight. What if this is not a problem to solve, but a season to experience? So then God can get in there and he can say, lay it down, Marci. Not your needs, not your desires, but the pressure to manage the outcome. Lay it down. And then my brother sent me this scripture, actually, on my birthday, which is when I was really in the thick of thinking of all of these things. And it says, 1 John 4:4, greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world, which means to me, what is being awakened in my life is not here to destroy my life. It's not here to destroy my relationship. It is God in me working. So then the perspective shift is, instead of focusing on me in the situation, focus on God in the situation. What is God doing in me in this situation versus what I lack, what I feel? Now, it's not to say that these feelings that I feel are not important, because they are. But that is when I surrender them to God and instead focus on what God is doing in me in this. See, that was pivotal for me. That's pivotal. So I'm asking him, okay, what do I do now? Because I'm a doer, God. I'm a doer. What do I do in this space? And God says, you feel it without rushing. You honor it. You honor your needs without weaponizing them, without throwing them like daggers to your partner. Supply me this now, right? I invite my partner in without demanding transformation, right? I stay curious about myself. And honestly, this curiosity is going to keep me talking to God. That's going to keep our relationship growing. See, what I fail to realize, I am letting God do the work that I used to take on myself. And what does that do to our relationship? It reframes the relationship. Now I am depending on God to work this thing out in me versus depending on me to work this thing out in me. Wow. It's the reframing of the relationship. This is not just about my partner. This is about, can I hold myself in this new version? Can I trust that what is rising up in me is safe? Can I believe that I don't have to earn being met anymore? Can I do that? Because the truth is, I'm no longer relating from my survival. I am now relating from truth. I mentioned that my brother texted me on my birthday, and it was definitely confirmation. He said, "Happy birthday, Marci. I pray your day is full of love, joy, peace, and relaxation. I love you." As I was doing my devotional this morning, this passage of scripture showed up twice. Whenever that happens, I view it as God trying to send me an urgent message. I felt compelled to share it with you as well. In a nutshell, he's saying, stop trying to figure it out on your own. Trust God, and he'll guide you to the place where he has already worked it out. Y'all, y'all. And I just had to sit with that because that's exactly what I needed to hear. That's exactly what God wanted me to hear. Stop trying to figure it out. Stop trying to manage it, trying to solve something. God has already done it. Like this version of me that is emerging now, these needs, these desires, these longings, they're not problems. They're not things that need to be managed. But what if they're promises? See, I realized God wasn't asking me to fix this relationship. He wasn't even asking me to fix anything that was happening in me or force people to receive this new version of me. He's asking me to trust him in it. And that's a different thing. That is a different perspective. So this is your reminder, friends. This is your reminder that as you take this journey of reigning in this new season of your life, you are not too much, but you are finally awakening to the truth of who you are, and it's not attached to anything that you do. You know, I had to ask God's forgiveness, you know, for only seeing myself and what I lack and what I feel. And I asked him to help me to see him in all of those things. Reminding myself that it's not that what I feel doesn't matter. It's just not where it ends. The next step is seeing God in what I feel, what I lack, and what I think. Because when I consider who God is, I am filled with so much hope and joy. Because I know that He is working things out for my good. You see, friends, there's always going to be that battle happening all around you for your heart, your mind, and your soul. But greater is the one who is in you than the one who is in the world. Listen, this is your journey to queendom. May you reign in this new season. We'll talk to y'all later.
Happy birthday to you.
So, Mama,
Happy birthday
happy
to
Queen holiday.
you. Happy
Let you know, I
birthday,
love you and I
dear
appreciate everything that
Susan.
you've ever
Happy
done and still
birthday to
are doing for me.
you.
And you
I
know this though,
love
but
you,
can't tell you any amount of
Marcy.
time that I feel like it'll be
I
enough. So,
love you, I
and I
do.
appreciate you, man. You a
Happy
rock star,
birthday.
man.
Yay!
Look up to
Thank
you
you,
in many ways than you know. So,
What you
enjoy
got?
your
You
day.
got 25?
Yeah, I'm 25. It's so fun being in my 20s.
Yes, I sent. Look here, I sent you some lunch money
Well, I
for your
appreciate
25
it.
years.
I appreciate it because I'm going to
God,
have lunch today.
so I look here because I'm sorry it could be more, but
Oh, Mama,
I
you
just
know that
want you to
ain't
know.
nothing to me. I
I
love
know,
you.
I know, I love you.
Thank you so much for being here on Journey to Queendom. This is your season. Every step you take toward healing, truth, and courage is a step into who you were meant to be. Stand tall, walk boldly. Your reign starts now. This podcast was brought to you by Artists at Play, nurturing the artist within.